27 and 31 degrees.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
To the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Ubaba Uzizigoto. I think one that really stands out for me is that 41% drop in terms of just physical activity post the COVID pandemic. We might as well not even participate in any of the major sporting activities, including Olympic Games or Commonwealth Games.
We might as well not participate in any international tournament. Your basics is to the foundation. The foundation is grassroots. That competitive sport does not start at 29 and 30 old. These are oldies. You need to start at 7.
I feel that the sports department and the basic education department have really neglected school sports for quite some time. I mean, yes, academics is important, but you are able to, balance sport and academics together.
Speaking as an educator, Mr. Marawa, something I want to highlight about this school sports, why is it dying like this? Number one, infrastructure. And number two, Robert Marawa, teachers are so much under pressure. There's something called ATP, so much under pressure with paperwork, and they forget about, sports activities. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of talent in schools.
Like really, what is happening in South Africa is really disappointing. You cannot be what you cannot see. Currently now, a black child is denied an opportunity to watch cricket and rugby. Our black kids, they cannot watch our sports, even our national teams, and it was not the case before.
What do you make of it? How do we summarize this?
I think let's not lose hope. We are the winning nation. There are certain things we must do right together, working with the people. We'll continue to work with federations and schools.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Streaming from 13 September on Disney+, the football underdog story. Welcome to Wrexham brings you Marawa Sports Worldwide. Live on 947, Rise, Vuma, and Sowetan Live.
Finally, it is the Friday edition of #Marawa Sports Worldwide. Marawa Sports Worldwide is brought to you by Season 2 of Welcome to Wrexham, streaming from the 13th of September on Disney+, live on 947, Rise FM, Vuma FM, and Sowetan Live.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
So the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Ubaba Uzizigoto, specifically is on the line.
Having worked in the school structures and still working in school structures instead of teaching school sports in terms of a rugby, a cricket, a water polo, a hockey, there is a huge buy-in in terms of parents focusing on school sports. I think soccer is the one that we're struggling with the most. But also our national body, SAFA, is also giving us quite a big problem because we're not getting coaches who are qualified and coaches who are competent.
Valid points. I mean,
absolutely correct.
How do you respond to that?
Physical education.
Yeah.
It must not be an option. Trained, qualified coaches, because at the moment it's more of an option as a learner. I want this, I don't want that. It must be part of a curriculum.
How quickly can we get there?
Social compact is what will help us to move speedily.
#MSW. #MSW. The clash of the Titans at the Rugby World Cup. Be there with Marawa on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Little show of the ball and away he goes.
Living the dream. #MSW for rugby reality.
All right, before we chat to a studio guest tonight, let's give you a quick update as far as the Rugby World Cup is concerned. New Zealand are going to be aiming to bounce back from a disappointing start to the Rugby World Cup campaign when they face Namibia in Toulouse tonight at 2100 hours. So the All Blacks lost their opening Pool A game 27-13 to host France last week. their first ever defeat in a World Cup pool match. The assistant coach, though, Scott McLeod, admitted, though, at the pre-match conference that he is expecting a really physical battle against the Namibians, with many of the players coming from farming backgrounds. Believe it or not, farming is good, man.
First thought for me was 2019. It was 24-9 at half-time, and they played really well, and they're really physical and direct, and we expect much of the same. And if you look at the type of people they are and where they've come from, mainly a farming background, we know we're going to expect a really physical battle tomorrow, so we've prepared for that.
Yeah, I think our objective at the moment is to take it 1 week at a time, to get better over these next 3 games. And at the end of the day, we just need to get ourselves to a quarter-final and then you're into knockout rugby. Obviously, losing to France on Friday makes it hard to finish on top now. But yeah, we've got to focus on getting better the next 3 games, and then obviously we want to be in a quarter-final, and anything can happen from there.
Excuse me. The World Cup's about a whole squad, and we've got to give opportunity for people to prove themselves. As it's been recognised, the last 2 results haven't been the way we wanted them to go, so we're giving people an opportunity to put their hand up, and like I said, we're going to need the whole squad.
Wales centre Johnny Williamson says that no matter who plays, the DNA of Wales will remain the same after holding a training session at the Stade de Nice on the eve of their second Rugby World Cup Group C game against Portugal tomorrow. Wales made 13 changes, though, to the starters to face Portugal, with the only wing, Louis Rees-Rammet, as well as the number 8, Faletau, retaining from the breathless win against Fiji. Yeah, remember that game? Williams as well was at the press conference with flanker Tommy Raffel and also the assistant coach Mike Forsaw.
I'll get my chance this week personally, and a few of the other boys do. And just because we've made changes, that doesn't mean anything changes in terms of how we play or the intensity and the physicality that we want to play with. That's part of our DNA. So it doesn't matter who we're playing, we're always going to bring that, and it doesn't matter who's in the side, we're always going to bring that. So yeah, for me personally, want to get back in the team, so starts tomorrow. Good opportunity for us to show what we're about in an attack. Of course, we don't want to be making 250 tackles again, but serious effort against those Fijians. They're some of the hardest players individually to tackle in the world, so huge effort. But that attitude and that intent doesn't change this week. That stays there again, but hopefully with less tackles and we get more territory and possession this week.
Yeah, just looking at the way they play, the back row especially are really, really good over the ball. They like to play off of turnovers. They like, spread the ball wide, play some good rugby. So, we've got to be really clinical around that breakdown area and, sort of eliminate the threats that they pose.
Yeah, well, you look in the backs, they've got quite a few sevens players. They like spraying the ball. They play that kind of coast-to-coast game. We've got to cut the supply off in that with our defence and our urgency to take space from them. Turnover ball, they'll just shift and they'll play a little bit sevensy. So, again, there's some similar threats to the Fijians. So we've got to be right on cue with our detail.
Australia forward Rob Leota says that stopping the big Fiji pack was key to his side's chances of winning the second Rugby World Cup Pool C game against Fiji on Sunday. Now, the Wallabies won their first match against Georgia last weekend, their first win under head coach Eddie Jones, and can virtually seal a quarterfinal spot if they can beat Fiji. Now, the Fijians lost 32-26 to Wales in a dramatic game last Sunday, but are nevertheless higher than Jones's side as far as the world rankings are concerned.
Yeah, definitely. Coming into the tournament, we were obviously 0-5. So to come out with a win in the first game definitely was a bit of a momentum booster for us. And we're building and we're getting better every week. So to have that win now has come at a good time for us to keep that momentum rolling into this week. He's been good. I'd say it's been a little bit of both. Kind of leaving me to find it and then coming to me when he sees things. But yeah, I feel like he's managed me well. He's obviously a few tough conversations there. He's come in and, mate, you need to be here, you need to be doing this, and I'll bloody take that with both hands every time because it's such good feedback from him. And other times he's kind of just let me go out there and do my thing and kind of find it for myself. And yeah, I think he's been really good in that area.
For me, obviously watching the last 3 World Cups at home, growing up from a kid to obviously now actually being at one, it's an unreal feeling to be here, but it's tricky not to get caught in that sort of bubble where you think, it's my first time. The most important thing for us now is taking each game, each week, prioritising that. So for us, the most important game now is Fiji. We don't look any further than that. We just set our eyes on getting a result against Fiji. So it's definitely taking it day by day. But the next game up is always the most important game for us. Obviously, we've been prepping really well. We know they love to play for a lot of time and space. So for us, the challenge is to cut that off. We know there's a lot of good ball carriers in their forward pack. So they'll look to find dominance there. So the challenge for us as a pack is to prep well and take that away.
Imagine a tournament being the envy of the world. A festival of rugby. More than just participation, celebration. We are ready to witness something unforgettable. The 2023 World Cup Rugby Tournament with Robert Marawa. #MSW.
Every single step of the way, the Rugby World Cup's going to be covered right here on #MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. Live at 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and on Sowetan Live. Hey, we're going to take a bit of a breather. When you come back, 54 seconds time, we'll have our legend who's right here in studio.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
All right, so a lot of speculation since Chippa United announced the acquisition of the former Lamontville Golden Arrows co-coach, Vusmuzi Vilagazi. He's heading the technical directorship of the club. How big is the bag?
I've actually 5 or 6 bags. So I did see people were advising me that I must use one. No.
You've packed 5 or 6 bags?
Because I'm going to stay for long.
What are you then? Are you TD or are you assistant coach?
I am a TD.
And the issue of the assistant coach and you sitting on the bench?
Sitting on the bench, I don't mind because as I've said to you right now that I need to prioritize. My aim or mission to come to this club was not to come here and take Morgan's position.
#MSW. #MSW. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Yeah, let's chat, let's watch, let's comment, and that's what you can do on the YouTube channel. We are streaming this conversation live. Our big interview today with our legend about a kick-off. I mean, it's been, 19 years now since this gentleman burst onto the scene. Very, very talented young wing. An impressive performance and also valuable contributions to various teams. I mean, he's kind of established himself as a key player in the South African rugby landscape. If you look at it, the rugby journey began in the domestic scene, making a senior debut. That was back in 2008 with the Cheetahs, the Currie Cup. Right there and there, you could tell that, I mean, he was quickly showcasing his skills, the potential, earning him a spot in the Cheetahs Super Rugby squad back in 2010. Now, there's one thing about him. Very, very quick feet. The hands, silky as hell. Extremely deceptive. I mean, if I'm going this way, he's going the completely opposite direction. But the speed, man, I mean, it made him potent. Very, very potent in terms of the attacking threat. And by the end of 2016, of that Super Rugby season, he had amassed an impressive record of 61 caps, as well as 20 tries. His career continued to unfold, his skill, experience, commitment, and also excellence as far as position is concerned. And it earned him that wonderful right of being one of South Africa's most prominent rugby stars. His contributions on the field, both domestically and internationally, I mean, I've kind of left a lasting impression on the sport and also solidifying his place among the country's elite rugby players. I mean, what a top-tier player. I mean, what a pleasure to have Lionel Mapoe right here in studio. Champ, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for that introduction. Yes, I appreciate it.
Did I leave anything out?
Thank you. That's awesome. That's amazing. I need that.
I think I left 10,001 things out of that particular one. But I was just trying to draw a picture of who and what you're all about. And I know you're a very humble soul as well, despite all of the talents that you've had before. I mean, if you were to reflect back on this long journey that you've had in rugby, how would you describe it?
Exciting,
yeah.
Also very challenging. I obviously know I had to work hard. I had to put in the work. I had to work double shifts to get to where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
It obviously didn't just come just like that. So Out of school, I was fortunate enough to play like the 8th grade for my province at that time, the Free State. And that was the start of things. I played some. Well, I would like to think I played some good rugby. Also, obviously, the selectors also thought so.
Everyone thought so. We can't deny that, man. When you talk about Bloemfontein, obviously born in PE, and then growing up in Bloemfontein. So the big question is, how would you miss Grey College and go to Fickett Park? Hey,
very good question. Very good question. No, actually, my primary school in Bloemfontein was Koot Niemann.
Yeah.
After Koot Niemann, I got a bursary to go to Fickett Park.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot of people would know Fickett Park, because if you think Bloemfontein, you think Grey.
You just think Grey all the time.
You think Grey all the time, yeah. And I'm actually fortunate that I actually went to Fickett Park, because that's where actually the hard work started. You know, I had my first team rugby coach believing in me, and I think that's where my journey started as to becoming a professional rugby player. I did have the opportunity in grade 7 to grade 8 to go to Grey College, but personal stuff happened with my family, with my father's side, and I had to go back home to the Eastern Cape for 4 years, and then I came back to Fickett Park. So Fickett Park actually molded me. I'm actually grateful that I went to that school.
You talk about a coach that made a difference, who gave you the first opportunity. You remember who that coach was?
Wally Oosthuizen. He was my first team coach.
And what was he saying to you? What is he motivating within you to say, listen, kid, there's something I see in you. I want to put you out there.
At school, I played center, so I played 12 and I played 13, and he used to tell me, you just keep on doing what you're doing and put in the hard yards, and one day you'll run out for the Springboks in that 13 jersey, and you'll become a Springbok at number 13. And obviously, you know how that went. I went after school. I was playing wing.
Yeah.
After that, I changed to outside center, and
13 was always your favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's so much to talk about that 13, because when we come back from the break, we talk about that wonderful journey. We talk about the many, many injuries that have plagued this man. And what could have been, what should have been, what didn't happen, but still keeps his head above water, has been able to pass on the baton to another number 13, who's really setting the scene alight right now. I was going to be stepping out for South Africa against the Romanians over the weekend. One of my favorite players, a teenager in all is right. Looking forward to it. Any comments as well as questions, send us a WhatsApp voice notes or give us a call right here in studio 011-8838-947.
They say it's been around for 45 years. A power with the ability to make all men equal. Defying the mighty. Inspiring the weak. They say it chooses the moment to shatter dreams and make heroes. The spirit of World Cup rugby lives with Robert Marawa. #MSW for all the rugby news.
Don't you wish your phone was fun like you? The new Galaxy Z Flip 5. Fit for self-expression. Fits in your pocket. Take your best selfies, hands down and hands-free. Buy now and you'll get Galaxy Buds 2 Pro valued at $3,999. The new Galaxy Z Flip 5. Join the flip side. T's and C's apply.
Checker 6060 is making a millionaire every week for 8 weeks. Light the fire, we'll be there in an hour. Let's go 6060. Meat and drinks in, green and gold win. Let's go 6060. Stay on your guard, we'll bring your scratch card. Let's go 6060. Major payday, half time on match day. Let's go 6060. Shop on 6060, get a scratch card, and you could win 1 million rand every week. T's and C's apply. Let's go 6060.
Hit the road in style with Sani, your ultimate car rental companion. Adventure begins with choice, and we offer a selection of high-quality vehicles, motorcycles, workhorse buckies, shuttles, motorhomes, and more at the best daily and monthly rates, with nationwide pickup points at all major airports. Visit Sani, that's SANI.coza, and enjoy a 30% discount till end October. Sani is the official car rental partner to Prime Media. Go further. Go safer. Go Sani.
Dad, imagine there was a car that could help save the planets.
Well, we don't have to imagine, my boy. We drive a Haval HEV already.
What do you mean?
Haval's HEV range only uses half the fuel of a regular car. Halving your fuel means halving your emissions, which means saving the planet. Clever boy. Discover the Haval HEV range from under 490,000 Rand, including 60,000 Rand deal assist. Visit haval.co.za for more.
Hi, me again. If you know what this ridiculously short 30-second ad is for, you'll probably know what I hate most about it. Yes, it's the legal line. Pineapple AFSP 48650 is underwritten by Old Mutual Insurer or licensed FSP and non-life insurer. T's and C's apply. I mean, who cares? Have you ever heard anyone say, wow, did you hear that pineapple ad? Go to pineapple.co.za for 100% insurance, 0% other stuff with all those super interesting, invaluable T's and C's. Well, I haven't. I've also never heard a complete ad where we...
Welcome to Wrexham returns to Disney Plus for a brand new season. The docuseries continues to follow the Wrexham Football Club, the town and its residents. The club extraordinarily positioned as an international prospect and is wallowing in the newly found limelight. Executive producers Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have been welcomed into the community and in turn have totally fallen in love with the club. Welcome to Wrexham Season 2, streaming from 13 September, exclusively on Disney Plus. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
So the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Ubaba Uzizigoto, early in the morning, woke up, there was a packed room. Firstly, you were surprised by that turnout.
Started at 7, at 8.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, powered by Welcome to Wrexham Season 2, streaming from 13 September on Disney Plus, Rise, Vuma, and Sowetan Live.
Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Our legend tonight, the one and only Lionel Mapoe, is my guest. Looking forward to all of your contributions as well. Do send us a WhatsApp voice note. Do call into the studio. The contribution that is made to the game is immense. Now, I remember some time ago reading an article. I think it just started literally about the prospects of being a top sports person, rugby player. And, you know, they mentioned then saying that it's mostly about perspiration, frustration, very little acclamation. It might be big English, but all it means is that you put in a lot of work. And then sometimes the work you put in doesn't yield the results that you would want all the time. I mean, I don't know if that kind of summarizes your journey.
No, definitely. I mean, this game is very physical.
Yeah.
You put in work. Obviously, you have to train harder than you'd like to play.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put in the work behind the scenes and you get that couple of minutes, 70 or 80 minutes on the weekend, you're actually proud of like what you did during that week. Also, the other part is where it actually stops you from putting in so much work is the injuries. So the injuries, they come and go. You hope they stay away, but it's inevitable. It happens. Some players are fortunate enough not to have them throughout their careers, or not to have big injuries throughout their careers. But some other players are not so lucky. So yeah.
Let's talk about that, because just the year 2009. You remember, some of us are big fans of yours.
Yeah.
You might not have known, but just watching rugby, and if you were in the starting 15, that excited me because I knew that one of the most skillful players that we have in the country with the greatest celebration. You'll describe to me what that was all about. Would be playing. So I got excited because I always look forward to you playing. Then 2009, you were peaking and boom, injuries started creeping in. Did they ever say to you, whether medically or otherwise, where and how that started? I mean, was it something genetic? Was it directly rugby related? Because they were ongoing for so many years.
No, definitely. Most of my injuries were rugby related.
Yeah.
I can remember from just after 2009, I had quite a big injury, and in 2010, where I think I had I dislocated my shoulder, and that was tough. I was out for like about 6 months. And that was quite tough for me. And obviously, as a aspiring to be a ultimate professional, you have to accept that this happens in the game.
Yeah.
If I just have given up back then, I wouldn't have like made it to where I am today. It's just one of those things that it happens in the game. It can happen in the game. It can happen in training. You try to stop it. You try to do there's preventative measures. Well,
it's difficult in such a contact sport, though.
But at some point it happens. Yeah.
So they're needing surgery for both the knee and the shoulder.
With my knees was a little bit tricky. With my knees, I never had to have like big surgeries on them. It's always just small, maybe the cleaning out of the meniscus or. It was just small type of injuries, not huge like MCL, ACL type of reconstructive surgery. With my shoulders, I had latigaries. I have screws in one of my shoulders, so I had 3 shoulder operations over the years, and that was quite tough.
And those screws still remain there.
Yeah,
it's a lifetime thing now.
Yeah, now you can feel it when it's a bit cloudy outside.
Are you serious?
No,
but how does that make you feel though? Because it is almost like, what's this? But it also helped you though.
No, definitely. No, it's. Let me say this: like I used to play obviously with a lot of strapping, and then I came to a point where I didn't need the strapping anymore. Where obviously I was doing more hard work off the field to get my shoulders strong, my muscles strong. The screws helped a lot. Touch wood. I don't want any other.
No, we don't want that at the moment because just. In the week, and I was reflecting back on your career and thinking that at just the age of 20, we'll chat about Kenan Moody in a second, and he's 19, but you at the age of 20, and you are winning the SA Under-20 colours at the stage. You cap for the Blitzbokke. You're named as SA Young Player of the Year. At the age of 20, what is that doing to a young Lionel?
Back then, that was a wow for me. I never expected that. You would hear some professionals say they write their goals down, and I actually never earlier in my career I actually never did that. So I never expected all the accolades that came with what I was doing in that time, and I was just playing rugby because I loved it and I loved to play the sport, and being on the field was the ultimate, At the end of the day, yes, to get those was really amazing, and to know obviously who I'm doing it for. That's been driving me all these years.
But what kept you humble? Because I mentioned at the top your humility. Obviously, that's what we read on the sidelines, but we also see it in the person who is you. What is a major contributor to you achieving as much as you did at the age of 20? Others can become big-headed, and we never ever see their best or their potential or their rise into the Springboks. But you were able to keep a sane mind, to keep that humility.
I would say my family. I grew up. I came from very humble beginnings, so my drive back then was and is still actually in my family. I always knew I had to give back home, support back home from where I come from, and that's been keeping me going like all the years. And then obviously I started to become a father, and it's more drive to to succeed. I sometimes chat to my friends about like. What if I set out to be like the best in the world at my position? What if I wrote down I want to be a best center in the world? What if I wrote down I want to be a best this in the world? how would my path have been, you know? And obviously it would have been different because all of our paths are different. For me, obviously, my why was different, and that actually kept me going. And I'm very proud of that that I kept going at that stage.
Are you a spiritual person? Because when you mentioned that, you know, how would things have turned out? Do you believe that there would have been a level of spirituality that would have led to those ultimate dreams coming true?
Just maybe if you look back at your career, you know, and you look back and you read a lot of stuff professionals obviously write or say over radios and stuff, and it's like, way back then, my thinking wasn't that. My thinking was, if I get this next contract, I'll be able to provide for my family. So my drive was completely different to
others who are probably more privileged.
Well, to others' drive. So I'm very fortunate, actually. I must say, like, I would never say, oh, I want to go back, and I want to say, I take that back. If I had to start over again, I'd do it the same way. And obviously, just now as professionals, you do talk about it. Especially with the youngsters coming through nowadays, and see how they go about like doing their business on the field. Obviously, where we can give a good word, we give a good word.
It was a special class, though. I mean, 2009, you talked about it being probably one of your best years, but also the worst when it came to the injuries. But when you look at the guys, you know, Juan de Jong was there, the two fronts was Steyn, who was there, Hougaard was also there. What was it about the mentality of those players? Because in their own rights, they all went to become great. But as the younger versions of yourselves, amongst yourselves, what were you saying to each other? Were you as supportive of each other, or was there just that competitive edge all the time?
I must say, most probably just the competitive edge all the time. Obviously, you would... different, like I said, we all are different, so we support each other sometimes in different ways. I wouldn't say we all were like the closest of friends, but we recognized each other, we gave each other respect, you know, for what we are doing and on the field and off the field as a person. So I must say that mutual respect was there professionally. Obviously, when you get off the field, players have their own lives, their own things that they do.
But who are you closest to amongst that generation?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to actually think now, because I was.
They won't take it personally. Don't worry. I know they're listening, but they won't take it personally. They understand.
I was still I was a youngster way back then, so it wasn't like that. I had like a lot of friends that didn't play at the same level as me at that time. I must say, Jongi Nokwe, Fabian Juris in that time when I was playing for the Free State. Those guys really, I was really close to those guys down there.
Sure. Jongi Nokwe. Now here's a superstar. I'll never forget the game. Australia, Ellis Park. The only Springboks have scored 5 tries.
Yeah. No, that was amazing.
You know,
fastest guy ever.
Crazy. What happened to Jongs?
I would lie if I tell you. I really don't know. I always think of Jongi Noko when we used to do fitness. Like he would be on the dead ball line, we would be on the goal line, and then we would start running, and then he'll come just from the back past us like that. And that was some crazy speed that he had there.
But why do we lose such players though?
That will most probably be difficult to answer, but. I think maybe there are opportunities sometimes. Maybe how the players' mentality also is set up at that time. We don't know obviously what's going on in his life at that time. You just see the player on the field. Like everybody sees the player on the field, like on a Saturday on the field, but they don't know whatever is going on with him off the field and like. Not during when he's busy with rugby. So I think that's a big thing that people don't understand, that the players' lives are very different to what they just see on the field, that 80 minutes on the field. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. And apart from that hard work, he has to go to his own life, and whoever knows what challenges he faces outside of that. And that can, I think, easily break a lot of players' spirits to play the game. And that's what I think that for most talented players, that's why most talented players never actually make it to the top, because their outside world affects their rugby world. Yeah.
It's an interesting topic. It'll probably need another show. But the protection of the talent, for me, which is always crazy. And also, I think your era was also a very sensitive area when it came to the transformation issues and how you deal with it mentally, how you deal with it in terms of perception. I mean, one key player who was here in studio just this week, heard us chatting early on, Ashwin Willemse, he says, what a legend, very apt introduction, truly a humble soul. He says, what a story you have to tell. So if that comes from an Ashwin Willemse, and I'm asking the question, how much protection do we give, whether it's at national level, within club level, do we give to almost cushion, the talented players? You're right. Talented players sometimes are the most wackiest of people, but we don't understand their circumstances half the time.
Yeah.
Are there provisions, though, Lionel, where we are able to, within the structures, to protect such talent?
Most probably not enough. I think most professional teams nowadays have like a psychologist or somebody that works with players. I feel there can be a step up in that area, because a player is not just going to come to you and say, hey, listen here, this and this and this and that. You have to actually hound him. I understand that might irritate him, but you actually have to hound him in order to help a player, especially obviously as a player of color. And they won't just come out and say, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. They'll just go about their business on the field every day. It looks like nothing's going on, but obviously off the field is a different story. But I think we can make a big step up on that, especially from the player side as well, where we can actually go and say, hey, I need help. Can you help me with this? Maybe then if I sort that out on the field, I'll be 110% more of a player that I am now.
Did you ever reach out to anybody when you felt down?
Not really. I've always been on my own. Yeah. I've always been on my own. I only maybe recently, because I'm more on the older side of
a bit more mature now.
Yeah, a bit more mature side. Yeah, and only probably last a couple of years. Yeah, that I actually have been speaking to someone that could actually help me mentally. And you read a little bit, and that actually helps. It actually helps. I've always been a calm person. Not a very erratic person. And I just think if I can give some advice to, especially the younger guys that's coming out now, you actually have to, even if you don't need it at that moment, maybe speak to someone just to keep you humble, keep you grounded, keep your head, keep you focused, because you can just easily lose focus.
I mean, there are many highs, there are many lows, maybe at times disappointments. And when you come back from the break, I want to tap into maybe one disappointment, which might have been being left out by Peter de Villiers from the 37. He knows exactly what I'm talking about here, being excluded from that BOK touring squad by Peter de Villiers. How much did that affect him, or did it not?
It's kickoff time. The mighty Boks take on the world.
He's got one already, and he's going to get another.
The Rugby World Cup, all the news, all the views.
Springboks with a penalty advantage.
All the action, right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
They have to scramble.
Hashtag MSW with Marawa on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
The future is a tricky thing. It's always shifting, always changing. At Bright, we'll never say that we can see the future. We see 1,000 futures because every one of our customers is different, and so are their needs. This is why we use our unparalleled sector insights and proven expertise to help each one prepare their business for their particular future. Contact your broker or go to brightsa.com to find out more. Bright Insurance. Approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
A massive share of 3 million rand is up for grabs in the Hollywood Bet Spinner Zonke jackpot race. Spin for 2 rand or more between 8:30 and 10:30 every Wednesday, Friday and Saturday night. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Savvy savers, enhance with trade-in and save up to 15,000 Rand on an impressive new upgrade from Vodacom, SA's most reliable network. Make the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 256 gig yours on a 1.2 gig Red Core plan from only 699 Rand per month over 36 months. Enhance your contract when you add 69 Rand per month over 36 months and get a Galaxy Watch 6 eSIM. Available in-store or online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
I like to sell it, but want a good price for it. Where can I sell it? I'd like to sell it. I'd like to sell it. I'd like
Whoa. You want to sell your car?
Yes.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Well, because we'd like to buy it. 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 You want to sell it? We want to buy it. We buy cars. The best way to sell your car by far.
When you choose Plascon, you choose strong and get your share of 10 million rand in guaranteed rewards. Spend a minimum of 1,500 rand on any Plascon products and claim your share. Plus, you'll be placed in the daily draw for the chance to win a 1,000 rand grocery voucher and the fortnight draw for the chance to win one of 7 inverters worth 10,000 rand. Competition ends 30 September. T's and C's apply. Details at pluscon.com.
Welcome to Wrexham returns to Disney Plus for a brand new season. The docuseries continues to follow the Wrexham Football Club, the town and its residents. The club extraordinarily positioned as an international prospect and is wallowing in the newly found limelight. Executive producers Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have been welcomed into the community and in turn have totally fallen in love with the club. Welcome to Wrexham Season 2, streaming from 13 September, exclusively on Disney Plus. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
So the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Ubaba Uzizigodo, specifically is on the line.
Having worked in the school structures and still working in school structures in terms of teaching school sports in terms of a rugby, a cricket, a water polo, a hockey, there is a huge buy-in in terms of parents focusing on school sports. I think soccer is the one that we're struggling with the most. But also our national body, SAFA, is also giving us quite a big problem because we're not getting coaches who are qualified and coaches who are competent.
Valid points. I mean,
absolutely correct.
How do you respond to that?
Physical education. Yeah. It must not be an option. Trained, qualified coaches, because at the moment it's more of an option as a learner. I want this, I don't want that. It must be part of a curriculum.
How quickly can we get there?
Social compact is what will help us to move speedily.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
It's the final stretch with our guest, our legend tonight. Lionel Mapoe is here in person, in the flesh. We're also broadcasting live on the YouTube channel. You can watch, comment, and listen very carefully because what he's had to say, believe you me, has us all listening very closely. What a remarkable story, what a remarkable journey, and what a remarkable human being overall. You know, when you talk about some of the greats, and before the break, we're chatting about Ujongi Nokwe. And I mean, you've lined up again against some of the players, or alongside some of the players who've had the talent that we're talking about. And one side should have been an Apiwe Janchi. I mean, here's a player, I think there was a stage where you called him a natural footballer. And you said you love playing against natural footballers in terms of him. Do you think if we had given him, shown him a little bit of love, things might have been different for him?
That's also very difficult to answer.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, he was my teammate. I used to call him La Farah because he's so fast. He has very fast feet, and he was very fast. I think if he maybe got in that support, that direction, that just to keep him focused. Obviously, I don't know what happened or what's going on, if it's true, if it's not true, but exactly in his case, like you need people around, say psychologists, like people to actually reach out to the players and talk to the players and ask, hey, is everything okay? Can I help you with this? Keep the door open for the player to come to you and talk to you. And I think that's the biggest thing we need in our sport. Like I said, some teams have that. Some teams I don't think has that. And then even way back then, we had somebody that speaks to the team, but that obviously was to motivate the team and to get the results on the field. And we all know, like AP is still amazing player. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the field again.
Yeah, I mean, Ed Kutsia spoke to him a while back, the CEO of the Sharks. He says, you know what, he's looking sharp. We're going to be seeing him. And we're all going to be surprised, and we're all going to say, my goodness, where have you been all the time? And that for me gave me a smile because I was one of the fans. I mean, RB Rugby was recognizing him as being the young best player in the world, and that says something, Lionel.
No, definitely. He was on his way up. It's obviously what happened to him. Yes, it's very sad.
Yeah.
But he was on his way up. I even wasn't playing next to him, was an AP fan.
I'm glad you're fans of someone that's right next to you, because that's why, just as we hit the break, I was saying to you, that exclusion by Peter de Villiers, 2015, there was a touring squad. You had played so well prior to that, and we all expected, okay, you're going to be part of the 37, and then you weren't. What did that do to you?
That was a lot. I think for me, it set in my mind. It set me back quite a couple of years, I think. But I tried to not think about the negative. I always try to think about positive. I must say, it actually started. It started the end of 2009. I can remember end of 2009, end of year tour. Also, end of year tour. I remember him calling, telling me that I won't make the squad because this and that. And I was
But what is the this and that?
Yeah, at that time I could remember was obviously he wanted to have a combination of two players that he chosen at that time.
Right.
And then he told me that he wanted to try those two combination, that combination, and that's why I'm not going with. And I was like, wow, it actually wowed me. I was like, I didn't actually know what to say. Obviously, I took it. I said, okay, coach, thank you. In my mind, I'm angry, and I just thought to myself, okay, back to the drawing board again, you know. And I must say, I think after that also, that's where some of my injuries also came. After that, yeah, and that actually set me back. A while.
But you get emotional about some of those moments because I believe in that stage, in that time, in that moment, again, your best rugby was there for all of us to see. And the next best thing would have been for you to don the Springbok jersey, and it wasn't.
No, definitely. I mean, I would have had most probably 50-something or maybe 100 caps by now.
Absolutely.
if I played back then and if they did choose me back then. But I could also... I was also up against some of the greats, JP, Brian and them. That's something that will always, I think, when I think about it, always emotional for me. I mean, it's not like I didn't have the talent to be there. I mean, I've proven myself on the field that on merit I can be there. Obviously, I had to wait 4 or 5 years to make my first Springbok debut. So that was just a bit mind-boggling for me. Why that had to happen? It had to happen like that. It had to happen like that. And I do get emotional because it's something I've worked hard for, and if you don't get it at that moment where you're good enough to get it, when will you get it? So I just went back to being myself and just play rugby. And I just gave it my all when I get onto the field. I just left everything out there.
And we got to thank guys like John Mitchell. I mean, I can't leave his name out of a conversation in terms of resuscitating, in inverted commas, a person like you. Tell me more about just his role and gaining your confidence back.
No, John is a brilliant coach. Yes, I love the guy. I know he coached me at the Lions. Obviously, he brought me there to the Lions as well. He always liked me, and I always liked him as a coach. I think a lot of players didn't like him as a coach because he was such a strict coach. I don't know, maybe because he liked me, I liked him. I used to play every weekend. But I always used to give my best, not saying the other guys didn't do their best, but I think he always had a soft spot for me. But I must say I did play some good rugby back then with the young fibers and being as speedy as I was. At one point he called me the electric worm because like I could slit like through tackles and stuff.
It was impossible to tackle you. I mean, it was one of the most impossible things in rugby to tackle you. I'm just pushing because of time.
Yeah.
So you get through that, and it's an interesting time in rugby. because I remember hosting him, one of South Africa's top businessmen. So Robert Gumede steps into the rugby fold. He has got big dreams, Next thing, there's the Lions. They got the MTN sponsorship, it was at the time, and really big things were happening. What was that period like for you and him being one of the people that believed in you and said, yeah, we got to sign Lionel?
I must say I'm really grateful for him too, because at that stage there was 1 year in 2010 where I also had an injury, and I also went through a contract contract dispute between the Free State obviously and the Sharks. And he made it possible for me to play rugby again, and that was for me, that was everything. And he brought me to the Lions. He made me feel like I was a top guy, and made me believe that I was a top guy. I mean, at that age, we had a press conference for me, unveiling me as a Lions player. I mean, I got
holding up the jersey.
They say that's like, you dream of that stuff, and obviously you don't see it in today's game. And I can proudly say that I'm really thankful to him as well, who believed in me. Obviously, believed in me enough to fight for me and to actually bring me over to the Lions.
Hey, does Quade Cooper love you much? No. Oh man, you sorted out that kick that he attempted that time, eh? One of those memories. Like I say, there's so much in your bank that we could always reflect on and say that was a critical moment. Whether it was the 2 tries in Australia, for the Boks, and then the next thing again, people turn their back on you, and you're saying, but what does a rugby player have to do to earn that belief in a coach to say, I'm going to journey with you? So with all of those things taken in mind, you then get to become a roommate with somebody that we all look at now, and you say, okay, Maneli Bok, get the ball. You know what to do. Hey, you know what to do. You know what to do with the boot, and you know who's going to catch it, going to go for the try. And he's attributed a lot of his success to the early stages of his rise into the game and the kind of imparting of knowledge that you gave him. When you look at a Kenan Moody today in 2023 at a Rugby World Cup as a teenager, with all of the hype, with all of what he shows, come on, Lionel. Hey, what do you make of all of this?
No, that's amazing. That's wonderful to see. I mean, I played with Kenan. I talked to him. He was my roommate at one stage. Now he's a very special talent, and he's one of those talents you have to tap in immediately, to reap the fruits in the long run. And I'm glad he gets his chances. I mean, if I can take it way back then, it didn't come so it didn't come like that. You can be talented, but it'll take some time. But I'm glad that they did that. Or they're tapping into his talent at this early stage, because he's a special player and he can do some special things.
But what is special about him?
Everything. He's also a humble guy. He's also a very humble guy. He's stylish. They often say he has like a JP Peterson mold. That's why he plays on the wing sometimes. Yeah. But obviously he's a center, or he played center in school. Just the way he reads the game. People will say now he's a very good defender, but he's also a very good, great attacker as well, with ball in hand. And he has a lot of attributes. And as a young player, he just needs to keep building on that.
Building and building. Now there comes a stage when, even as we talk about the Rugby World Cup, and again one of our favorite players, he was man of the match in the last game, Maneli Bok. He'll get slammed, not kicking well, losing 8 points, could have been more, could have been this. But his overall game, brilliant. What are you making of the journey of the Boks right now, and what are your expectations? Are you expecting that come match day last, that we are there, and we're the last people to leave the stadium with the trophy in hand?
No, definitely. As long as we're there, we always have a chance. I think people write us off, and when our backs are against the wall, that's when we actually show our true colors, our green and gold. And yeah, especially with the team we have now, we have a nice mix. We have a nice mix of youngsters and a bit of older guys. I actually feel for Mani. I actually want to ask the public not to be so hard on him, because he's a brilliant player. He can, he plays the game like with so much prowess. he's like the Neymar of rugby.
Wow,
so,
no, and you're not wrong because his mind, his boots.
He's an amazing player. Obviously, they're gonna go at him for his kicks, but that can be fixed, man. As long as he's just serving the team, putting the team on the front foot, that's special.
What's next for you? What ultimately is? I don't even know if you've formally told everyone that I have retired, or it's just like, you know what, I keep going with this thing.
No, I think when my ankles and my knees speak to me, then I'll hang my boots up. At the moment, I still have another year with the Blue Bulls, so for me, it's just obviously to just keep fit and to contribute to the team. Also, when I run at the back, that's when I will say, okay, I can't do this anymore. But at the moment, I'm not running at the back, so I'm still keeping up with the youngsters. So now I'm just looking forward to the next URC season, obviously, to make the team. It's going to be tough, but I love challenges.
That famous celebration, everyone's asking about it here. They're saying, don't let that man go before he tells us what is that all about.
Yeah, it's people gave it different names over the years. The rooster, the chicken, the shark, the fin. Now it comes from school. Actually, Ashley Kok, Chapa Kok, also introduced me to it. Where you score 5 points and it's a way to celebrate with 5 points on top of your head. And so it never had like a name to it. So you just take what everybody says.
But it's your signature thing.
It's a signature 5 points.
We love it. And more 5 points. Was the only time I ever saw another sports person do that was George Donnelly. And he was obviously, he's a Durban boy. Played for Mazulu, played for Bafana Bafana. And then he would kind of celebrate something similar to that. But you were just indicating that he's a KZN boy with the Sharks.
With the Sharks,
yeah. But you know what? Shark, you're an outstanding athlete, an outstanding rugby player. And trust me, in the annals of history, your name will always be remembered, Lionel. Thank you so much for gracing our studios. I wish you nothing but success and all of the best, man.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for having me tonight.
Hope to see you soon.
Thanks.
Have a super weekend, man. Lionel Mapoe, my guest here tonight on the Legends Chair, sharing all his memories about his journey in the rugby fraternity. Now, one thing I can tell you is that on Tuesday, we look forward to talking about rugby, talking about, Thando Manana. He's back in the country. From Paris, Ash and Willemse will step up, and they call themselves the Room Dividers. Live on 947 Rise FM, Vuma FM, and Sowetan Live, Marawa Sports Worldwide was brought to you by Season 2 of Welcome to Wrexham, streaming from 13 September on Disney+. Have a great weekend.
It's kickoff time. The Mighty Box take on the world.
He's got one already.